Alright guys, so today we're talking about a sim setup that is a huge step up from where most sim racers start. If you follow this channel from the beginning, you know my sim racing journey started on a Logitech G920. That wheel is what got me into sim racing, flipping gear, and slowly upgrading my setup. Now Logitech is playing in a very different space with the RS50 direct drive wheelbase and the Pro pedals. And today I want to talk about whether this combo makes sense as an upgrade and who it's really for. Before we even talk about the wheel, I want to start with the pedals, because honestly, pedals matter more than most people realize. Everyone focuses on force feedback and torque numbers, but lap time lives in braking consistency. If you're coming from a G920 or a G923, the biggest limitation isn't the wheel, it's the pedals. These are the Logitech Pro racing pedals, and the big headline feature here is the 100 kilogram load cell brake pedal. And that means the brake measures pressure, not how far they travel, like a real car. The throttle and clutch use Hall effect sensors, which are contactless. That means they're smoother, more precise, and don't wear out like traditional potentiometers. Logitech is clearly saying this isn't entry-level gear anymore, this is long-term equipment. The brake is really the star here. Out of the box, it's firm, and if you're used to the G920 pedals, it's gonna feel strange at first. You're not pushing it far, you're pushing it hard. But once your muscle memory adjusts, braking becomes way more repeatable. You start hitting the same braking pressure lap after lap instead of guessing based on pedal travel. You can tune the brake feel with elastomers and software adjustments, so you're not locked into one setup. Softer for road cars, stiffer for GT or F1. This is the kind of upgrade that doesn't make it feel different, it makes you more consistent. The throttle is smooth and predictable, which makes a big difference on corner exit. Modulating power feels more controlled, especially in higher powered cars. The clutch is solid too, great for standing starts and manual shifting. Nothing flashy here, and that's a good thing. Everything just feels precise and intentional. These pedals are modular, so you can adjust spacing to fit your rig and driving style. Build quality is excellent. They feel heavy, solid, and don't feel like consumer toys. The RS50 is an 8 Nm direct drive wheel, which puts it well above the G920 or the G923, but not into extreme DD territory. What you get here is smooth, detailed force feedback without it being overwhelming. Road texture, curb detail, weight transfer, it's all here. For those that watch my Flip series, you know that before I got the RS50, I used the Fanatec CSL DD with the boost kit, which is also rated at 8 Nm. On paper, they look the same, but in actual driving, the RS50 feels noticeably stronger for some reason. The force feedback feels more immediate and more present in your hands. It's not just peak torque, it's how the torque is delivered. Which frankly, I believe it's a gimmick. Yes, I can kind of feel the subtle vibrations of the true force on the G923, but it's not something that drastically changes the driving experience. And that's because true force on the G923 felt cheap. It's a gear-driven wheel that is notorious for being rattly and loud already, and true force, instead of adding another dimension, it added more, well, rattles. However, it's a completely different story on the RS50. Because True Force taps into the game's audio and physics data, I can actually feel engine RPM vibrations through the steering wheel. And what's wild is that the vibration doesn't stop at the wheel, it travels through my Next Level Racing FGT cockpit, and I can even feel it through the pedals. And not only that, the frequency of the vibration changes depending on the engine RPM, and what that does is, it doesn't just vibrate on and off. It vibrates different parts of the rig throughout the RPM range, which to me is absolutely insane. I'll show you what I mean. I think the best way to showcase this is with pumpkin seeds. It would be better if I had sand, but I don't have sand, so this will do. So here on my rig, I have the RS50 mounted, and right here is my pumpkin seeds. And if true force is real and effective, these seeds should move whenever it's in the correct RPM range, which I believe it's the mid-range, because on cars, mid-range is sort of where it's the loudest. I think that's true with my project car too. But the thing I want to show is that true force just doesn't vibrate everything. It vibrates depending on the RPM. So here we go. So as you guys saw, True Force is a real thing. I still think it's kind of a gimmick on the G923 only because it's a gear-driven wheel and it's still very rattly. But on the direct drive wheels like the RS50 or the Pro wheel, I think it is an absolute game changer, and I am a full believer of True Force now. As someone who only experienced the G923 and the CSL DD, this kind of immersiveness is absolutely mind-boggling. It makes the whole cockpit feel alive, not just the wheel. Another thing I really liked is the LCD display on the wheelbase. Being able to adjust force feedback, strength, and profiles directly on the base without jumping into software makes a huge difference, especially if you're switching cars or games. It just makes dialing things in faster and more intuitive. With the RS50 and the Pro pedals together, the biggest difference is confidence. Braking zones are easier to repeat, car behavior is easier to read. When the rear steps out or the front starts to wash, you feel it sooner and more clearly. It doesn't just feel stronger, but it feels smarter. I think this setup makes the most sense for those who have a G923 or a G920 or other entry-level wheels. If you want better consistency, better braking, and gear you won't immediately outgrow, this is a strong option. If you're desk only or chasing extreme torque numbers, this might not be the right fit, but for most racers, this hits the spot. The pros are pretty clear here. Excellent brake feel, strong build quality, noticeable improvement in consistency, and clean, cohesive ecosystem. That doesn't mean it's perfect because it can take some time to dial in. Pedals really want a proper mounting solution, and perhaps the most importantly, the price puts it firmly into enthusiast territory. This setup really highlights how far you can go starting from something like a Logitech G920. And speaking of starting, this channel just hit 1,000 subscribers, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around. I have no one else but you guys to thank you for it. I created this channel a long time ago and I didn't really do much with it until recently. I started the Sim Racing Flip series where I start from $60 and try to work my way up to a full motion rig with a direct drive wheel. Thanks to your massive love and support, thanks to your massive support and engagement, like talking on camera is so hard. Thanks to your massive support and engagement, I was able to reach 1,000 subscribers in less than 2 months since uploading that first episode. I did hint here and there through the episodes that I would be giving away stuff once my channel got a little bigger, and I'm going to honor that by giving away an entry-level racing wheel. Now, this isn't anything fancy or new. I just don't have the funds to do that right now, but it is something that I acquired during my Flip series. My hope is that if one of you guys wins this, you can enjoy it for a little bit and start your own Flip series. It doesn't have to be a video, but just your own journey, flipping journey, just to see how far you can get starting from an entry-level wheel. I'm not gonna make you jump through hoops like a circus clown just for a entry-level wheel. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is to be subscribed on the channel, which I hope you are already. Follow me on Instagram only because that's my preferred way of contacting you if you win, and leave a comment on this video telling me what your setup is currently, or if you don't have one, your dream setup. The more detailed, the better. Unfortunately, this will be limited to the lower 48 US states because I don't have the funds to send it internationally just yet. Maybe in the future I can work out something with a sponsor, but for right now, I'm very sorry for the international viewers. So a huge thanks to all of you guys for the love and support. I hope this review helped you guys in making a decision for your next upgrade. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.